Three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this, the 8th? We're on 8 now?
It is number 8, yes,
the
indeed.
8th episode of the OKKO Anime Club. Today we're talking about No Game, No Life, so of course, bugger off and watch it if you haven't already, because spoilers. Joining me as always are my two wonderful hosts. We have, to my right, Bizarre Sleepy 5. And directly beneath me...
got knocked out.
Yeah, he did. Directly beneath me, we have Tired Twister.
It's more of a little whirlpool at the moment than a full-on Twister.
And of course, we were initially meant to be joined by Yokorama, the one and only, for this particular discussion, but he's not home yet.
He's a little bit unreliable, but that's okay.
Yeah, because he obviously he had Anime Expo the other
Sorry,
week.
you guys are stuck with me.
I was about to get into a lovely thing in that you were our knightess in shining armor who flew on in. So I was like, "Say, Sarah, do you want to be on?" She was like, "Yeah." So thank you very much, Sarah, for coming on a such short notice. This is the wonderful Sarah, my colleague from J-Taku, also known as 42Believer. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone who doesn't know who you are?
Well, my name is 42Believer. My channel is 42's Anime Reviews. I sort of kind of not do anime reviews. Mostly I'm doing these videos called 42 Things Wrong With Insert Name of Anime here, and that seems to be going pretty well for me. Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Right then. So, we've done introductions, and I'm not exactly sure what my current thought process was, so let's move into that thing we do in this particular thing that we do, where we talk about the show. And picking on to start, I would like to ask you, Abby, because you watched the first episode and you were like, no. Did your opinion change at any point?
Well, you know what I said about the first episode?
Yeah.
I said no. My answer to that question is no.
What are your problems? Let's start listing off your problems.
It just didn't do anything for me. It really didn't. Like, I can't even... Usually when there's a popular anime, I get why people like it, even if I don't. Like Fate Zero, I didn't like it, but if I can understand why people did, but with No Game No Life, I just don't understand. I don't like it. I think it's mostly otaku pandering, to be honest, and I don't like it.
I can get behind one of the first things you're saying there, because like I really cannot cotton on to why this is as popular as it is. Because, I mean, nobody was expecting anything out of the show. It didn't have hype around it to begin with. I don't think there were a huge amount of, like, light novel fans for it. Like, going ham and, like, getting everyone excited for it in the beginning. And then everyone, it was easily, like, the most popular show of last season. And everyone's been singing its praises. And people I know in real life outside of, like, anime reviewers are just being like, yeah, you need to go watch this show. But with that said, I did enjoy it in spite of that. I just don't think it's as good as everyone said it was. Because I think one of my biggest problems I had with the show in terms of getting my head around it was I wasn't sure what tone it was trying to establish. Because it was kind of silly and ridiculous and stupid, but then wanted you to take it seriously at the same time. Not sure if anyone else picked that vibe up from it.
Tell you what the best part was, though. That one JoJo's reference, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
What, you mean the entire series? the art direction of this show is pretty much ripped out of Battle
there was one that was like super blatant.
Yeah.
With the like cry and there were a couple actually, but I don't know. It just felt like fan service and not a whole lot else.
Yeah, that is one of the problems I have with it as well, is it does seem to just kind of faff around and pander to things. Like, I don't think the incest lolly stuff was really added to the show at all. And another thing is just like I think I'm semi-tired at this point of, look, it's a child genius and he's really good. Because I mean, honestly, I think that's quite unfair to the show because growing up, I was of course brought up and watching the perfect definitive example of a boy genius in Mr. Kenichi Juji, the Digimon Emperor. Yes. Because let's face it, there is not another child genius better than him. And because characters like that, it didn't really seem to flesh out why they were intelligent. It was just like, yeah, she's smart. Look, she's really clever. No kind of exposition as to why she's really clever. She's just a genius.
Yeah.
But the premise itself.
Have we got anything positive so we don't start this off as a total like shit all over it thing?
Yeah.
So far we've only had your we're still technically on Ebby's opinion.
All right.
I want to hear Sarah's opinion, if you can.
Well, for me, because, you know, I don't really game too much, but when I was younger, I always loved playing games, but what I loved more was watching my brothers play the games, especially like the Zelda series, Ocarina of Time. That I just got a lot of enjoyment out of that when I was a kid. And just seeing this, it was like people playing games, and I love watching people playing games, and I always have since I was a little girl. And I guess it just kind of threw me back to that, and I felt really nostalgic, because especially since a lot of the games in No Game No Life were very much puzzle-based, they weren't so much, you know, action, you know, you have to be the strongest. It was the strategy part. And a lot of the Ocarina, you know, stuff is done about strategy and logic, puzzle-solving skills. So I guess for me, it just gave me that sense of feeling like when I was a little kid, and I just felt really nostalgic. I really liked
That
it.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you can.
Okay. So I feel like No Game No Life was a show that was very at odds with itself, kind of like you mentioned earlier, Alan, how there were moments where it wanted to just be silly and fun, and there's pants there, yes.
Well, I think it's less like it. I was thinking less that there were moments in its entire core ideals and reason for being.
Well, what I'm getting at is when I was allowed to just sit back and let what was happening happen and just enjoy it. Okay, let's dial it back. When I watched the first 2 episodes, I was convinced that I wasn't going to like it at all. Like after episode 2, I was just like, I am done with this. This show is making me genuinely angry. So, which a show, to be fair, to its credit, nothing's ever done that to me before. So, but I watched episode 3, and I was completely bowled over with how much I enjoyed episode 3 with the crazy chess game.
Yeah.
Because that episode, they just went, fuck it, we're just gonna.
Well, that's when they actually kind of kick in and just like, here's how the game's gonna be. It's kind of cool. We're
gonna move into complete ludicrousy, and I really enjoyed that. And I felt like when the show kind of dropped this facade of it's really, really, really clever, and this is why, by like showering you with bullshit. Because it got to a point when they were explaining things where I was just sitting there going, yeah, I get it. You don't need to spend half an episode explaining why you've won. So I felt like, and like the politics side of it, I felt at times was a little bit shoved down my throat when I just wanted to watch them play games and have fun, which I thought was the core aspect
the politics. I think is going to be something that's going to be very, very relevant in the future of the series.
Yeah, but it fell into this dichotomy of when I wanted to get stuck into the politics stuff and understand what was going on, the show wanted to be silly. And when I wanted the show to be silly and I wanted to sit back and have fun, then politics stuff would appear, and I'd just be like, what? I want the other thing. So yeah, I think it was very conflicted. In my opinion, overall of this show is very conflicted, because when I enjoyed it, I really, really enjoyed it, and when I didn't enjoy it, it made me very angry.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now I'm similar to that in that I was very conflicted as well. I never hated it to the point where it got me angry. I just thought it was just like boring and dull at various points. I did have various issues, as I agree with you on pretty much everything you said, and a lot of stuff Abby said as well, to be honest. But at the points when it was literally just kind of like, we are in our game, this is what we are trying to do. It's like, yeah, this is fun, this is entertaining. I mean, it's dumb and it's silly, and that was what made it shine out and what made it entertaining. So that when they got to the point in any of the things where it's like, yeah, here is our major crazy mad logic, take this seriously, blah, and it's just like, well, that's just unnecessary to an extent. And I do think the premise is it's simple and effective. It's just like, there's this god guy, he's like, come over to our world, and
well, you say that, but I've seen this sort of like game anime done before, but I've seen it done. Maybe it's more within franchises that I'm comfortable with, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 is kind of similar to this in a way, because it does have a lot of those sorts of games around it, I suppose. And I was really comfortable in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, and I don't know, just the whole we're introduced to Shiro through like a panty shot just made me think, no, I'm not into this.
One thing I've always found strange about this series
was a bit much.
Is people were always from the bat, like even in the comments on our Sword Art video, someone was like, "Oh, no game that life is better." It's just like they're completely fucking different. This is not a people in a video game thing. This is a people like spirited away to a fantasy world. We've seen that in so many other things.
But they're playing games. They're playing games.
They're playing games, but they're not playing video games most of the time.
What I did find quite funny was in the opening of the first episode, they're playing a net game. So in my mind, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a bit like Sword Art," and then it wasn't, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was not like Sword Art at all.
But I do kind of like the world they're brought into. It's like I, for one, am a sucker for rankings. Generally, it's just like, oh yeah, here's the rankings of the races. Like you're the king of humanity. Can I just also say that them calling humanity and not just human beings is just dumb, because it annoys me when it does that. Like in Evangelion, Kaoru is like, yeah, Ellen. It's just like, no, just call them humans, you knob. But that was just because, like, I watched like the first 4 episodes or something when it was airing. Put it on hold when I knew we were doing it for club. Went back and started watching it again. I was like, wait, what's humanity again? And I was like, okay, it's just humans. It's just like, that's a bit silly. But
I think it was supposed to be like a sort of race of humans, because I don't know.
I think it was
human beings.
Yeah, it was supposed to highlight the divide between the two worlds by them having 2 different names for the same race, but it was a bit unnecessary.
I'm not going to knock it for it. I just found it silly.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally just because when I jumped back into the show, I was confused because of it. But I do like the world. I do like the whole idea of like no bloodshed. It kind of, what did it remind me of? Dog Days. It's just Dog Days. Oh god, I never thought of that. It's just Dog Days, because Dog Days is literally like, you have wars, but you're not allowed to hurt each other.
Well, the way that it works in Dog Days is a bit different, because they turn into like balls of animal when they get hit. It's not that they're not allowed to hit each other, it's just that they transform into these like animal balls.
That sounds really weird. That sounds bad.
Yeah, Dog Days is pretty bad.
That sounds really bad.
One thing I do quite like about this thing's spin on that, though, is that whilst it is like there is no bloodshed and everything is done through games, it still feels like if that wasn't in place, there would be bloodshed. Like, it does feel like there is still legit competition, legit politics, and legit things running through it, so that the rules are there for a reason.
Well, they did the thing where, like, when Sora bet the race piece, and then they were like, well, what are the ramifications if a race loses their race piece? Like, that means they're fucked, because the rules don't apply to them anymore, so people can just kill them.
That
was I enjoyed that a lot. I don't know, I guess I guess I kind of like went into the show knowing that it was going to be, a lot of it was going to be otaku pandering, and so I kind of put up these filters to like filter through and be like, all right, I'm just going to ignore all the crap that I know I'm going to watch and just have a good time out of it. And so I'm listening to you guys talk and I'm like, wow, yeah, it did do that. Oh shit, that was pretty bad. Oh fuck, that was
I'm
really
sorry,
bad.
I'm sorry if we ruined it for you, Sarah.
That ruined it for me, but it's just like, damn, there's a lot wrong with this, but I still enjoy it, and that made me feel a little bad inside. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure.
I think one of the things that I did really appreciate that kind of tied itself together and honestly justified a lot of what I have wrong with it is the 10th oath of let's get along and play together. It's just like, yeah, that is this show to a T. You've got all these convoluted rules and special things that are happening that's all overridden by the fact that, it's just about having fun. So I can appreciate it for that. Absolutely.
But that one episode where friggin' Sora just like up and disappeared, no one was having fun then.
Well,
all broken.
To be fair, like considering that episode is just like, I spent the entirety of the 8th episode going, what the fuck? Well, first of all, as soon as they said that the game was Othello, I was like, well, fuck this. I will never know how to play Othello in my entire life. That seems like the most complicated. I just I look at it at work and my brain
Othello is great, man. They fucking play it in Harry.
Well, okay, but even so, right? Just the fact, because the concept of that game confuses me. So the fact They just said the word Othello, and my brain was like, oh right, okay, here we go. But right, bearing that in mind, episode 8 was quite possibly one of the episodes that I enjoyed the most, and I don't know why.
The funny thing about episode 8 is when I watched it, I was like, have I missed an episode? Like, weren't they meant to be fighting the Warbeast? What's going on? Why is she meant to have lost her memory? What's going down? It's like, oh, okay, no, they are still fighting the Warbeast. This is still happening. So basically the entire last 6 episodes are all leading up to that last.
I really like what they did with the ending of episode 7, leading into episode 8, where it was all like messed up and like Sora wasn't there, and
I was like, what's going on?
I like it.
That grabbed my attention. I was like,
I like it when I like it when shows mess with their openings and endings, because I feel that for people who watch openings and endings, that has a big impact, because that's something that you've seen repeated over and over again every episode. Yeah. So when something happens that changes that formula, you're like, whoa, what? So that was cool.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that one. I think the one show that did that really well that I noticed a lot was Sora Demo Sekai wa Utsukushi, because like every time they did the opening, they added more characters into the opening.
Oh, that's cool.
You mean that Still World is Beautiful?
Yeah, that one.
It's a tender rain.
They overplayed that song so bad.
Please
I was like, all right, I'm done.
Rain. Shut up.
We need to do an episode on that show one day.
It's please come the tender rain.
Please come the tender.
Please come the tender rain.
And Cam's just like, I don't know, guys.
Next thing.
Is that a shonen? Is that a shonen? I don't know.
Next thing I have as a problem with this series, that some might find nitpicky because it's so common of so many shows, but in a show about games, in a show about winning or losing, it is established in episode 1 that the protagonists can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, there is no tension whatsoever in anything that happens, because you know for a fact they are going to win. It's just, how are they going to win?
Yeah, the only time they ever got me with that was when they did the coin flip at the end.
They got me that time.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like when was it the end of the last, or towards the middle of the last episode, when Sora's talking to, I've forgotten her name, the little dog girl, Adorableness, who's really rude, blue haired dog girl.
Izumi?
Yeah. And he's just like, nah, man, it's all right that you lost. Because the fact that you lost to someone is cool, and that feeling is awesome. Saying that, being someone who with Shiro has never lost ever.
You know what?
Apart from to Shiro.
Yeah.
He's wrong. Have you ever lost 50 consecutive matches of Vice Schwartz? No.
How awesome is it to feel that there's someone that you will never beat at Vice Schwartz ever?
It's
not awesome.
Bad.
It's not awesome.
No, but there was another episode that I really liked, where it was the whole figuring out how they were gonna win, and it was when they were playing against the Flugel or the Angel or whatever it was, and they were doing that game where it's like you summon something into the world by saying the name.
The World
that
Association.
One I really liked.
I enjoyed that one, because that was again another example of them just going balls to the wall and just
they were just going ham, and it was funny.
I gotta be honest, I don't think I was paying attention at that point, because I had no fucking idea what was going on. I was like, they're in space now?
Basically, Abby.
Okay, they're in a vacuum, so she can't speak. Get it. She can't speak. Right.
It's a classic Japanese word association game where you take the last kana of a word and then make another word to follow after it. And then, but in their spin of the game, if it doesn't exist where they are, it gets added. And if it does exist where they are, it gets removed. And that was cool. And that was very
cool.
That was really
I
cool.
definitely did not pay attention.
It's probably my favorite episode.
Yeah, I loved it when Sora just goes, yeah, hydrogen bomb. And it's like,
that was the moment, and it was just like...
It was
like, oh right, so I can summon things.
Yeah. One of my biggest issues, though, with them as characters, because the whole super genius thing has been done a lot. And in order for it to be good at this point, I feel like I need justification as to how they were doing what they were doing. But towards the end of that, it was just like, okay, so he managed to just as planned this so much to make it so that was happening.
That was like the whole climax of that episode just made me think: is Sora actually Joseph Joestar? Because that is like I thought that I'm in Control, his theme song, was gonna start playing, or like Burning Coliseum or something. When he's like, actually, I've got you because I planned this all along.
And next you'll say, it's like, yeah, it's on this bit of paper. It's like, oh,
exactly,
right.
yeah. So he did it. Next you're gonna say, how did you know? Except you won't.
Like that, it's that style of thing, which is why the second half of Death Note gets such a bad rap in comparison to the first half. Because in the first half of Death Note, everything L is like this ridiculous genius, but
No spoilers, just in case.
it's believable that he's a ridiculous genius to an extent. Like all of his actions, everything he does are justified. But in the second half, with the main detective being Nia, everything he does, it doesn't feel justified. He literally just jumps to the perfect conclusion every time without fail, and it takes any sort of it just takes a lot out of it. And that's the kind of similar vibe I get out of Sora at times, in that he just automatically jumps to the perfect conclusion. And even if they do backtrack and go, here is the plan, this is why, it's like, I can't get into that. Like, that doesn't make sense. But then again, that's when that's when we go back to the whole let's all get along and play together, and this show is not honestly meant to be taken as seriously as it was somewhat making me take it.
This is the thing though, when it did things, when it was a little more lighthearted and it went away from the whole I'm going to spend half an episode explaining why I've kicked your ass, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like when it was silly and like the last game when they were playing that bloody Galgun game.
Yeah, that was
on the streets of Tokyo. That was awesome.
When they literally just said, "It's Galgun."
Like, yeah, exactly.
Galgun.
Or that one bit where the box opens and they're in Tokyo and the pair of them are just like,
yeah,
is this Tokyo?
What the fuck?
That,
and they start
that kind
freaking
of
out.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that, I must admit. But I obviously.
But then they went. It was just so easily fixed. They just went, it's just simulation.
It's not
okay.
It's a game. Oh, all right. So yeah, that's fine. It's just Galgun.
Right.
Cool.
That was fucking stupid as well. Where it was like, I shot the pants off that lady. Why?
And she disappeared, and it was like, no.
I liked it when they got Stephanie to shoot herself. That was funny.
Yeah, it was.
It was pretty good. I don't know. I guess I just enjoyed all of the characters for some reason. Like, I thought they were all fun to watch, even if I know that they weren't technically the best characters. I just found them fun to watch. Like, even the background characters, I found them fun.
I'd agree with that. Like, they're quite eccentric,
I'm trying to think.
Colourful people.
I've literally just finished the series, and I've consequently forgotten everyone's names.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a character that I actually genuinely really like.
Shiro.
And Dora is
Kurami.
the one that didn't do anything.
Stephanie Dora!
Jibril is
Kurami.
the one.
Jibril was cool.
Jibril.
I liked Jibril.
Who is the elf? What was her name?
Fee.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, Fee was cool. I liked Fee because she had a very simple, very like you knew from the moment one. I'm so tired. You knew from moment one what her motivation was. I just give a shit about her. That is all I care about. That's me done.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Simple enough. But I don't know.
And she was cute.
Yeah, she was an elf, so that's why she was my favourite character.
And I really also did enjoy just the aesthetic of the show in general, like how colorful it was.
It was wonderfully presented.
The best thing
and I just
about
loved
how it looked is that it did the Mamoru Hosoda "We are in a game world" thing, and all the outlines were red.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, but my problem with that is that they didn't have black outlines when they were in the real world. It's like, fuck you. Have black out. The rule of like other worlds is you have red outlines there, but black outlines at home. It's like what you.
They even had the Summer Wars reference with Shiro going through her memories. Like that looked like when they were in the game world in Summer Wars. I was like, oh.
I think I'm like. I feel so bad because I'm just like, I don't like how it looked either. I really didn't. I don't know why.
You're just being a massive spoil sport tonight.
I'm a spoil sport.
Everybody doesn't like me in my life.
It's me. It's my
1 out of 10.
Oh, look, anything.
1 out of 10.
I want to watch Haruka be a mermaid.
I give this a diabolic lovers out of 10.
Is it free? No, then it's shit.
I wasn't sure.
Exactly. Does it have the name Haruka in it? No.
I'm done.
I'm not sure if I do necessarily like how it looked particularly, but I did appreciate the red outlines.
I'll tell you what I did like though.
There was
the eyes looked really nice on everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Jibril's eyes were awesome.
I like their
only thing
outfits as well.
Mhm.
The only thing design-wise that bothered me was when you saw when they were like younger and they were kids and they both looked roughly the same age.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
so dumb.
now Sora looks so much older than Shiro. I don't get it.
She's 11 and he's 19, I think, which is kind of
But
one of the
they looked-
most horrible things about it, and that he's perving over his 11-year-old
Yeah.
little sister, and it's just like, dude, I know you're in this media,
Well,
but that
stepsister.
is like, oh, is it another one of those? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a stepsister thing.
She's still 11 though. Let's
She's
focus
still
on
11.
that.
She's still 11.
This is still some
She is
Ian
still
Watkins
11.
level.
You can't use that loophole forever. It's still illegal technically.
No, but I just hate it because when you saw when they were younger, they looked exactly the same, and I guess I just didn't understand why he looks so much older than her. Like he's got those like kind of like bags under his eyes that make him look like he's like his mid-20s or something like that.
Those are the bags of a gamer.
I like
Yeah.
I like that he put his half of the crown on his arm. That was cool.
I thought the crown looked cool. There you go. That's my compliment.
That's it. No game, no life. Good cranes.
Later.
Good cranes. That's it. That's all you get.
I also like the opening and ending. Like I have the opening and ending both on my phone for my work playlist, just because I really liked them. I don't know. Something about the
I will
song
give
is
you
just.
that. Those were quite good.
Yeah, the opening was cool. I liked how it says the show name in rhythmic fashion.
Woo.
Oh, yeah, you know what else? Yeah.
No game, no life.
One thing. Did we? Because as I said, I watched the first 4 episodes when it was airing, and I went back and watched the rest for this. What was Tet's reasoning for bringing them in again?
Because
I
they were
completely forgotten.
Because they were really really.
I
good.
think it's. Yeah, they were really good,
he
and
wanted-
he wanted
he-
to shake things up.
Yeah, he wanted
He
someone.
was he literally just bored and he wanted something interesting to happen?
He
Okay.
wanted someone with the potential to challenge him, I believe, is what he was going for. Because they were like, he was like, "Oh, play a game of chess," and then they beat him at chess, and he was like, "Wicked." You might actually
Come
do
over here.
something other than be rubbish.
Talking about the beginning.
Because,
Let's talk about the end really briefly. Sucked.
Yeah.
Of course it did.
But
It's a
it-
Madhouse show.
But it had a fox lady with a monocle, and she
I
had
don't
lasers
give a
coming out
crap.
of her mouth.
It's like, oh,
this big
we've got all
laser
this
beam going
potential.
up to the sky.
No, we've
I think
got all
the
this potential. Shut up. We've got all this potential for a second season. It's a Madhouse show.
Is
They're
true.
not even almost gonna do one.
Yeah, it's clearly not going
To be
get
fair,
a
I spent the
Madhouse
ent-
never do that.
I spent
ever.
the entirety of the series going, when is the hot fox lady going to turn up? And she didn't turn up until like the last episode.
I didn't even know there was a fox lady.
She was there in like episode 2. She was watching them.
And you could
I
see her in
wonder
the
how
opening.
how many of the light novels is actually adapted, because this is going to go bloody long. There's 16 races. They've only dealt with 3 of them. It's like, whoa. Well, 4 technically, if you include old Deus being like, "Hello, I'm a thing in this" at the
Yeah,
end.
and then Sora's going to be like, "You're going to be my friend now," and he's like, "Okay."
And then it's
So
gonna
we
be like-
buddies. We buddies.
And then we all go, so basically, Tet is almost exactly like the impy guy from Amnesia. Because they look the
Oh
same.
God! Don't bring that in here. Take that away.
Get that shit out of here.
I
I don't
like
even like No Game No Life. Take that away.
I like
Also,
Tet. I like that bit when he just turned up and went, "How you doing? You doing good? Good. See you later."
I used Tet. Bag one.
I don't
Another
know.
thing,
They just
as-
said all this stuff about like, oh, we're gonna beat God. We're never gonna see that. It's
Yep.
just like we're never
It's
gonna see
never
that. We're never gonna
It's
see
like,
that.
Go and read the light novels, please. We
Because-
urge you to.
Yeah.
Even though that bit hasn't been written yet, because it's still ongoing. But go and read them.
No.
I'm sure that's what they're doing.
It's pretty much, I think. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
if they did more, I'd probably watch it.
Can,
'Cause-
can I just put my hand up and say that it's completely impossible to set your name as blank on any video game?
hacking.
It's not possible.
Hacking.
You can't do it on
Sex.
Steam. You can't do it on anything I've ever played ever. So
Can you
how
just
did
do
they that?
spaces? Can you just do spaces? You're allowed spaces in Steam, so maybe they just did a load of spaces.
Sure. I'm sure they're not allowed. It's just like it's probably a space is probably an illegal character.
So you were unable to suspend your disbelief from the very first moment of the show.
Their name is blank.
As I said, I'm not, that's not
I would have
taking
been like, I would have
from the show.
accepted their name being blank if they were being played by Lily Savage. Sorry, that is like a very prime time British TV show joke that no one is gonna get.
Apart from people who were alive in the early 80s. Early 80s? late 80s, early 90s. There we go. I got there eventually. I'm tired.
I'm not gonna harp on the show for that blank thing, because at the end of the day, them being able to do that isn't the problem. It's the fact that if you actually set your name as blank, you are a pretentious cockhead.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of, you know, if you think about it, the show is kind of pretentious.
I guess
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The characters are pretty pretentious. They're like, I'm so smart, I'm gonna win everything before it even begins because I'm amazing.
Look at how smart I am. Watch me flex my bulging brain muscles. And then become my wife.
Before I forget,
Become my wife.
I just want to say, we mentioned earlier that this was the 20th best ranked anime on Mal.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess at what's above it and what's below it? So what's at 19 and what's at 21?
Is one of them Sword Art?
No.
Is 21 Titan?
No.
Is 19 Titan?
No.
And then my guess is one of them Nana?
I got no idea. I don't go on Mal anymore, and I have no idea.
I just want to see the reactions of this.
It has gone
Number
down.
19. Number 19. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Fuck off! Actual fuck off, Mal.
Number 20. No Game No Life. Number 21. Cowboy Bebop.
What?
So Mal
my anime list
thinks
is
that No Game No Life is better than Cowboy Bebop.
This is why I don't like going to Mal. This is why I don't go on to Mal. Because people
travesty.
are stupid. People are freaking stupid. Golden Time is ranked way lower than Toradora, and that's also stupid. Oh, Mal,
Okay,
why
so-
you do this?
Sarah, you're without a doubt the one amongst us four, I'm assuming, that enjoyed the show the most. Do you think it deserved the hype it got last season?
Not really. I think it was one of those shows that should have been just something that some people picked up during the summer season, but because at the beginning I was like, oh, seems interesting, maybe I'll watch it. And as you said before, there was no hype before it. Yeah. And I feel it should have just been like just another show.
Did I just imagine it?
But for some reason it became popular.
Did I just imagine
go
it?
ahead.
But during the first 2 weeks, like when the first 2 episodes were airing, I'm pretty sure people were like, No Game No Life, pretty meh.
Yeah, it took and then a few weeks until the chess game for people.
Yeah, and then the chess game happened, and it was like, oh, anime of the universe.
I'm pretty sure it was either the. Oh, I think it was either the word association game episode or the episode where they first meet the Warbeast, and he does that. So I quite enjoyed that. The bit where they after they found Stephanie's dad stuff, and they go to the Warbeast, and they're like, here's all when they do their kind of mind game back and forth with him. I thought that was cool. I think it was either one of those 2 episodes. That's when people started to lose their shit over it.
Yeah.
I think it was probably the word association game episode though.
That would make sense
The
for me, because that episode was very good.
Pretty amazing.
But also, can I actually say, nobody's seen this show, but Chronicles of the Going Home Club was an awful gag show, but the word association game gag in that show was more entertaining than the words association game episode in this, because that was brilliant. Not sure which episode it was, but if anyone has seen that show, they know what I'm talking about. It was easily the best part of that show, and it was wonderful.
I don't think anyone's seen that show.
It's because it was awful.
Sorry.
Don't watch it.
Go on,
This
Nick,
show-
find
I'm
Can
getting
I-
a lot of mixed signals here, dude.
Okay.
No, it had a really, because it was one of those shows. It was a 4-coma, and it was like 2 episodes in one kind of thing. And half of one of the episodes was this just extended word association game gag, and it was hilarious and really well done. Anyway, let's talk about some of the games that they played individually, because we touched on them all before. What did we think of the chess and how it was like
Chess was
Wizard's
cool.
chess?
The chess game was awesome. Like, that was probably my favourite bit in the entire series. That was the only bit where I kind of got truly hype and felt like, yes, this is awesome, because there was actually some energy behind it. And I just kind of like how they were trying to play by the rules, and that was fine. And then when Shiro realised that playing by the rules and all of her skill at chess meant jack squat because they were cheating knob ends.
Yeah.
She got really dejected and upset, and I was like, okay, so like the concept of losing, if it is like real to them, is genuinely upsetting.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're so used to winning all the time, so they aren't just characters who are like, oh, losing is impossible, but the concept is genuinely terrifying to them.
The thing with
and
the
then
chess
Sora, go on.
The thing with the chess for me was that it sort of solidified that rules don't really apply in that world as they would in this one.
Yeah.
So
that's
therefore,
why I enjoyed it.
But the thing is, it's sort of like a double-edged sword, because therefore they can just twist any game, spin some bullshit, and they've won.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
But that would have been better than playing a game of rock paper scissors and going into psychology for 20 minutes.
Can I just say, I did not understand what the fuck was going on with that rock paper scissors thing at all. I was like, what? He said he'd just play paper. Why didn't he stick to his word? I hate him.
That
was so dumb. That was really dumb.
He was trying to teach Stephanie a lesson.
I enjoyed it.
He was trying. The thing is, he was trying to.
You're allowed to.
He was trying to teach Stephanie a lesson, but whether she learned it or not, nobody else got it. Stephanie may have learned from it, but none of the viewers did.
Yeah, I didn't learn from it. I definitely didn't learn from it. Apart from you can say things, but it doesn't mean that they are true.
Yeah, it was something to do with the fact that he said he would only play paper, but that wasn't part of his pledge. The pledge was just, we will play rock, paper, scissors. So basically he was just saying, now listen to me, Stephanie. People are assholes.
Well, and it was also that episode when she was saying, I'll win and I will do a game purely on chance and we'll see how many seconds it is until the birds fly away.
Yeah.
And then he just picks up a rock and fucking throws it.
Well, that bit I was like, well, that bit was vindicated, I thought, because the first thing that went through my head is he's just going to throw a fucking rock at him, and they did.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, Steph, why did you do that? Like, you're so dumb. Why would you could have.
I really liked when they played Blackjack.
Yeah,
hold on.
I was going to say with that rock thing, it's like when you're like, yeah, look, I can move that without touching it. You can just pass it here, and I'll show you. And it's like you just moved it. It's like, wait.
You got that from friends.
Hey.
I don't know. I probably got it from somewhere. Most things that I've learned in my life.
There's a bit in Friends where Phoebe's like, I'm trying to move this pencil with my mind, and then someone goes, oh, this pencil, and she's like, I did it.
On the lines of like Stephanie trying to play the games of chance and stuff, I did, out of all the explanations that I found annoying and like abrasive, the Blackjack bit I did really like, because on the surface Blackjack is a game of chance, but then Sora was like, well yeah, but it's fundamentally broken because people can just card count, and then like even I went, oh yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, like I liked that, but that's because the explanation of that was simple. It's just this game on the surface looks like it's random, but it's not because this, and I did that. So screw you.
Are there any other games?
Yeah, the next.
Sorry,
game
what were you going to say?
The word association game.
No.
What were you going to?
Word association game.
And I think we've spoken enough about that. I do believe we all that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Sorry, I feel really bad because I cut you off.
I did.
I hate doing it.
It's so easy to do with this stream.
Yeah, but, that's podcasts in a nutshell.
The word association game was really good. I did feel like the bit where Sora was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of like private parts and then make everyone naked," was a bit redundant because of the amount of fan service in the show anyway.
Yeah, but they didn't have nipples, so
that was just like, what am I looking at?
Why justify it? You've just had Stephanie getting like tentacle molested by a giant monster thing, so why the need to justify everyone being naked on the beach? Just do it anyway. We don't care. If someone's that bothered about fan service, they'll just enjoy it anyway. I know I did when it turned up.
Do you reckon that'll be in the Blu-rays?
No.
I think that was the
next level joke at that point when they were like, they don't have nipples. I feel like he might have said something along those lines. I might be completely pulling that out of my butteria,
but I think the fan service in this show, it didn't bother me as much as it does in other shows. Funnily enough, I mean, I think it was a lot tamer than I have seen in other shows. So I guess I was just kind of so I've had watched such bad shows, and the fan service is so grotesque. This was just like, oh yeah, flash and panties.
There was enough. I felt there was enough in this show. There was enough to make me kind of go, yeah, pants and boobs, yay. But like being a bloke of hormonal persuasion, I enjoy a bit of fan service every now and again. There is a point where it annoys me.
Have you ever seen High School of the Dead?
Yeah, that just makes me laugh. But
High School of the Dead is so done well though. It's because it's hilarious.
What I was getting at though is like this show did it quite well in the fact that I kind of there's a bit of fan service. I was like, oh yeah, but it never annoyed me or like took away from it. The only thing that bothered me was something that you mentioned right at the start, Sarah, which was they introduced Shiro with a panty shot.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is an 11-year-old girl, and this is how you're introducing her. So we know, well, this is the focus, is it? Oh, fair enough.
Yep.
At least it was honest.
Yeah.
Fan service is gonna happen, and it's gonna happen to little girls, and you're just gonna have to deal with it, I guess.
Deal with it or
yeah,
get the fuck
at least
out.
it didn't lie, I guess.
It was very unassuming, and that was good. It was just like, I'm gonna do my thing, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off.
I did
enjoy that.
Any issues with the fan service, to be honest. I never really have issues with fan service, because when there's loads and loads and loads of it, you're watching an ecchi show and you're expecting it to be there.
Yeah.
And just in this, it was there. It didn't really bother me, but at no point was it even remotely sexy. It was kind of there to be silly and dumb.
Yeah.
So I barely even took it into account, apart from when it was Shiro, and it was just like, this is fundamentally wrong, but I'm kind of used to it because of this medium and how it seems like that literally. Like this show, if you tried to show this to someone who didn't know anime, it's like, yeah, this is an 11-year-old girl who's getting her clothes taken off by her 18-year-old brother. It's like, oh.
It's like when I told my dad that.
So that's what you're into.
It's like when I told my dad that Yoko Littner was 14 years old.
Yeah.
My dad came round to my flat and he saw my Gurren Lagann wall scroll, which is right there. And he saw Yoko and he said, "Oh, she's not wearing many clothes. How old is she?" I don't know why he jumped to that question. I was like,
"Dad's amazing."
As long as he didn't ask if she was single.
he might have done if I had not answered with 14. But whatever. He was like, "What?" The nice thing, well, he didn't get angry. He was just like, "What the fuck?"
It's like when my dad came into my room and he saw like my real action heroes, like Ray and Asuka and stuff, and he just walks over to my Detolf and just eyes up and he goes, "Yeah, I quite like these, especially like these girls." I was like, "Dad, you're 60."
No, I have a free Dakimakura, and I was just like, I can't let my aunt see this. I can't let her see this, because I bought it at Anime Boston, and I was staying at her place during Anime Boston, and I'm like, I must hide the pillowcase, and I also hid my porn inside it because I bought a Dojin, and I was like, no, you're not gonna see this. Just put it in there.
Wasn't that an Attack on Titan Dojin where like the Titans have sex?
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was Mikasa x Titan Eren and Annie x Herpaderp Titan. And Mikasa was actually, I think, in the Titan's stomach, I think, was what it was supposed to be. It was like the most effed up dojin I could find.
Man, that is hard.
Oh my god.
Oh no, and there was a funny story, because my friend was also there, and we went to her hotel room, and she's like, just leave it here. And I'm like, Jennifer, your parents, they will see it, and knowing your mom, she's gonna pick it up and like read it. So I was like, hide it in there.
Anyway, I think the next game after after the.
I don't want to talk about games anymore. I want to talk about free Dakimakura and Attack on Titan dojins.
The next game was actually there was only 3 games in the entire show. One of them was an episode, one of them was the chess, and then there was just the big build up to the last one. And honestly, the last one was by far the worst for me.
There was the Othello game.
Yeah.
I
liked the very end of the last game.
Of that.
It literally ended in one move, technically.
Yeah, it was just them kind of like.
Well, the problem is half the game happens off screen, which
that's the thing.
That episode was only effective because half of it happened off screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't really get the game.
And it's just like this is all part of my. I'm probably about to say the exact same thing you're about to say.
I like the fact that they took Sora away, and Shiro had to do something on her own.
That wasn't what you were going to say.
That's all I'm gonna say at all.
That's not. I was going to say that the actual results of that, I liked the whole thing where it's like, all I want is for us to share memories, so you can trust me. That was really cool.
Yeah,
I really got along with that because, like, I guess that's one of the things that I did really appreciate about a lot of the conflicts is they kind of were resolved in somewhat interesting ways. Like that was literally just like, oh, he didn't do any. He wasn't like greedy. He wasn't trying to do anything flashy or ridiculous. He was just trying to do the bare minimum, exactly what needed to be done in order to achieve what he needed to achieve. I thought that was cool. But like the last game, it was fun and everything. But that one for me was the most fundamentally just. I just couldn't get into it because of how much was on the line. And when that much is on the line, you know for a fact. Like that was without a doubt the most obvious point of like, yeah, this is. I'm just waiting for him to win.
Mm-hmm. By that point,
yeah,
because like by the time that game started, I kind of realised my overall thoughts on this show and how I felt like it was conflicted between explaining stuff and the actual like action and getting involved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when it went into that final game, I went into that final game going, right, I'm just going to ignore all the bullshit and just enjoy it for what it is. Like, they're shooting each other and there's girls and stuff. Way! So I kind of tried to just push out anything that annoyed me. I think I got a lot more out of it because of that. So, like, all the, just like, basically, I enjoyed it for the action. And then, like, the bit where she was about to lose and she went all Warbeast and raw, I was like, yes! She's winning, it's awesome.
I was just like, mate, that's hacks.
Yeah, mate, elite hacks, bro.
I did find it strange how it was 4-on-1 though. So I was like, is that...
It was the terms of the game, I guess.
It was just, I think part of it was an overconfidence thing.
Yeah.
But...
And I did like the bit where Shiro was just like doing really pro, and it's just like, yeah, she's well good at Counter-Strike. Yeah, exactly. You should see her play. You should see her play COD.
She is Prestige 12, yeah.
She is like #1 rank on Halo.
If you shoot her, she'll just run up to you and knife you.
She is the master. She is the Master Chief.
When I play COD, I can only use the noob tube.
Can I make a point before you keep on doing this for like 20 minutes?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you think that CGI dancing was on purpose?
Yes. And I thought that was cool that they put that in there because that was literally like, we are in a game. These people are going to be CGI. I appreciated that because the show was actually pretty good for not having CGI. It was very kind of faithful to the aesthetic it had established. When Madhouse want to do something, they can do it competently.
That was quite good, yeah, because it kind of they put the CGI in there, but I think that was to kind of show you this is different.
Yeah, because it was like, we are in a game now, and it's like, yeah, that's cool. That works. It's not like Love Live. Not like Love Live.
But I know if they do have a second season, I will be watching it. But I don't know about you guys.
I'll probably give it a go because John won't let me not watch it.
I won't be watching it because it won't get made. If it
did get made,
fair enough.
I'll be honest.
If it did get,
I won't watch it.
Yeah, I'd watch it because like I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens once he unites the world and does everything.
Yeah, man.
I think it might be cool.
And Tet's just going to be actually, to be honest, I just like the way the pieces look. I don't actually know how to play chess. Sorry.
and another thing is that
you play Uno instead.
Is there going into a second season? I know what I'm in for this time. So that always happens when I have something like this that I kind of enjoy, but don't enjoy that much. And when I go into a season 2, I'll know what I'm expecting, so I'll enjoy it a lot more.
That is what frustrated me about this the most. I think was the fact that episodes 12 and 13, I was finally getting into my stride. Like I knew what I was expecting. I'd like worked out the rest of the show, and then it ended. And I was like, oh, yeah. I'm actually at a point where I wouldn't mind watching more of this now, and it's over.
Oh god, the ending was garbage. Like Christ.
It was literally like, they won!
It was a Madhouse ending.
And then it ends.
I like those endings.
It was like, I liked, again, like, you know how I was saying before about how, like, the minimum thing he wanted was the memories so they could trust him. And I really liked at the end, in the coin flip, how he does that, so that they're like, yeah, so we are allies now. That was my goal. I wasn't trying to take over you. I wasn't trying to ruin you everything. I just want this to happen. It's just like, okay,
I want my
that's
animal
cool.
girl harem.
Yeah, exactly. Because like he's
wait,
not...
what does? I mean, that's what every boy wants, really. So it's all good.
Yeah, furries.
Hey man, they're not furries because they're not all covered in fur, technically. So it's not.
They're just
weird.
a bit furry.
Yeah, so it's not weird. It's only a little bit.
It's just like your basic cat girl or dog girl.
Yeah.
Essentially, he just really liked playing Terror, and he was like, I'm playing Terror.
Probably.
You know
That was probably the game that they were playing at the start.
Yeah.
A bit of terror.
You might get a kick out of Dog Days.
No.
No, you won't. The only person who gets a kick out of Dog Days is John.
I did it first, but we're not talking about Dog Days.
No,
We're never
we're
doing
talking
an
about
episode on Dog Days either.
We're
so-
never doing an episode on Dog Days.
We're talking
Spoilers.
about
Crap.
we're talking about No Game No Life. And as I expected, it has been very mixed opinions
Yeah.
so far. Let's talk about some characters. Let's talk about some characters in a bit more detail.
Let's move on that, because I mean we've kind of went over everything else we need to go over.
Yeah.
Starting from the top, the main man himself, Sora.
Sora.
Oh.
You should just keep
know how
doing
that
that
feels.
for the entire
Oh.
segment, Ebby. Just,
That's-
oh.
While we're talking, you're just like in the background going,
So,
yeah.
Ebby, give us a bit more detail. What? I can't tell. Do you like Sora?
Yeah, it's alright.
Top lad.
Yeah, I like
buy him a coffee.
I already like Sora. Sora from Air Gear. What was it called?
Ooh.
I'll say
Listen, you
what
arse.
I didn't like
Oh, that's
about
the.
Sora is that he was just predictable, I suppose. Because in an unpredictable way, like you knew he was going to win. I don't know if it's a character thing or a plot thing. I don't know I don't know what it is.
I think it's a character archetype thing. That since we have seen this character, not overdone, because you can't put them in everything, because at that point it'd just be terrible. But they pop up fairly frequently, and we know how they think, and they all think exactly the same at this point.
He is just if Joseph Joestar was an otaku in modern day Japan.
Yeah,
That's how I see it.
The reason I didn't like him was because he had a little bit of his thing, his deal with his little sister who was 11 years old, and that creeps me out. That's why I don't like Araragi from Bakemono either, because I just think he's creepy and weird.
Well, he thinks you're creepy and weird.
It's alright, we won't be friends. He's off playing games in another world, so we're alright.
nah, man. Araragi is pro. You can pay 3 and take a damage and plop the level fees and Senjogahara from your hand into play. Provided
I
you're at
will
level
set
2
you
high.
on fire.
I knew that Weiss Schwarz was going to turn up at some point. Maybe they'll play that at some point in the next season if there is one.
Nah, man, that's
Do you
Vice
reckon they'll get a wuss set? And then they'll make like an extra episode where they have to have a wuss.
We're not talking about Weiss Schwarz. There's the wrong channel for that. Sarah, what did you think about Sora?
I thought he was more entertaining than some, like the average smart guy that I've seen in the past, because usually if they're smart, that's all their character is. They're smart and everything they do is always smart, and that's all you have to go on. But with him, he was weird because he would, say something really, really sophisticated or convoluted about the game, and the next minute go ranting on about breasts. And I found that kind of contrast to be kind of funny.
He's like a
In a
pervy
comedic
L.
way.
Yeah.
Basically,
I did like how it managed to throw that into his character, which kind of set him aside a little bit from the other characters that he's a lot like.
He was entertaining. Like there were moments where I was like, okay, you're beating a dead horse with your explanations now, Sora. But
Yeah.
there were moments where he would entertain me. He was a very entertaining character for the most part.
I think he filled his role well.
You
Yeah.
get a feeling
I
he'd be a
liked
great
what he did.
ringmaster.
Yeah, there was some charisma behind him, and I enjoyed that.
But in terms of what the main brunt and bulk of what his character is and what it stands for me, I just couldn't get behind it that much, just because I've seen it before, and I've seen it before done better.
Yeah.
In better shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's no Kenichi Juji. He is not the Digimon
He's
Emperor.
no L.
So what about
He doesn't like donuts.
Shiro then?
Shiro's just a stupid little lolly that didn't do anything.
See,
You know,
I
she
thought that.
reminded me of. She reminded me
You
of
guys are so
Inori.
mean.
Ugh.
Ooh. See, I don't know.
No, she wasn't that bad.
I agree. I agree for the most part.
She was relatively cute when they weren't trying to overly perverse her.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree for the most part. And it's just a dumb old lolly that's going to be really smart and really aloof and not going to get involved with anything. But then there were like moments where there were the less frequent moments where she would get involved in the silliness, and like they would. I'm trying to.
She was just turbo hyper genius dandere.jpg.
I'm trying to word it in a way that doesn't like sound really weird, but because normally when I see that kind of character, there tends to be like almost she is untouchable, like the way she is cannot be changed in the sense of like the thematic style, whereas there were some moments where they just kind of completely fucked it up, and she'd have like massive eyes and be all silly and gooey and stuff. I'm explaining this terribly.
Nah, man, I get it. I'm behind you.
Yeah, she would get involved. She would get involved in the jokes on like an animation level, like everyone else, which normally doesn't happen with this kind of archetype. And I appreciated that, but those moments were very few and far between. So,
Shiro is three things. She is a dandere, which I love. She is a child genius, which is heavily overplayed in fiction, and she's a lolly. So I liked one of those things, and I didn't really see anything beyond those three things.
So Alan gives her 33%.
Exactly. No, I give her a 40%. The child genius gets a little bit if it was done well. For me, she was just she as I said right at the start of this, I just had a problem with her in terms of child genius characters. There was no justification. There was nothing. She never thought. It was just like, yeah, she's really fucking clever. Believe this.
I found their relationship, like what they show in like, what is it, episode 3 or 4, when they get separated by like a fucking door.
Yeah, their relationship actually was.
They both start to break down. I could believe it on Shiro's side of things, but Sora seems a lot more autonomous than she is. And
I wonder, like if we should be like, I've just had a thought. Like, should we be talking about them as two separate characters, or should we be talking about them as the entity that is blank? Because I feel like it's different.
I think one thing is that they are presented. At least they consider each other to be like perfect equals or anything. When it really doesn't feel like that at all. Like he is pretty much she is a tool for his plans.
Yeah, she does kind of feel oftentimes like Sora's secret weapon.
Exactly. He uses her to get where he wants to go. And she's just like... I think
that there is a certain level of trust among both of them that I kind of admired, especially the one where they were playing Othello, and he was just like, I trust you that you're going to finish this game and you're going to get me back from being wherever he was sucked away to.
Well, it's like
I found that quite interesting.
Actually, that doesn't... No, it's alright, it doesn't work. I've literally just watched the last episode, and he's like, Sora placed all of his trust in Shiro when he let what's her name shoot her, but she didn't actually shoot her, and she was completely like Corpus Menti the entire time. So that point is completely redundant. So I apologise.
That's alright.
I am dumb.
But I don't know. I guess I haven't seen a lot of anime that do feature like child geniuses, so I probably am a little bit more tolerant of it.
Well, for me, I guess it's not just anime; it's fiction in general.
Yeah, fiction in general. But I always find myself usually disliking the lolly characters. So I was really surprised when I liked Shiro, because I thought she was kind of amusing, especially when she would abuse Stephanie pretty much as Sora did. And she'd be like, Stephanie, sit, like, command her like a dog. And I thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was different.
Normally, I don't tend to dislike the Lita characters, but I tend to just not have an opinion on them at all. So... Shiro kind of did well in that she did stand out to me at certain points. But, yeah.
I think I know who Kenneth Bolido's favourite character in the series was, though. Without a doubt.
It was,
Stephanie Dora! Right. All I'm going to say
No, it's just a big joke that Ken likes lolly. That's just his thing.
I was making a joke and a segue.
Yeah, I was trying to make a segue as well. Can I just say that whilst watching... No Game No Life, I may have heard John on the sofa behind me say Stephanie Dora about 83,000 times.
What do we think about Stephanie Dora?
There he is.
I don't think anything about her. I honestly, I can't think of a single. I'm probably wrong. I just can't think of a thing she did other than in the last fight, wherein she could have been anyone who did that.
She didn't.
I can't think of a thing where she did something worthwhile.
It seems
like... Wait, no,
the reason that she was there.
She's the daughter
Granddaughter.
Yeah.
Granddaughter.
I think she is supposed to be kind of like... what's the best way to explain this?
Something for the future. She'll be important later.
Yeah, and I think the idea... Or I got the initial impression that she was kind of supposed to be... Trying to think of a good analogy for this. I'm just going to go back into JoJo's references. She is the Speedwagon to Jonathan Joestar, where Sora and Shiro...
Speedwagon.
Just
take those words back.
Just roll with me with this. Just the concept of Sora and Shiro would do something amazing, and then Stephanie Dora would be like, "What? How did that happen?" And then they're like, it's because this, and this, and this. So like she's kind of supposed to be the I got the initial impression that she was supposed to be the gateway to the audience because she is average and these two are amazing. So she's meant to be the bridging point. But
I hate her now. I hate her. Sorry, that's like my least favourite thing. Okay, this is coming from my love of sports anime. The worst thing in a sports series is when every 5 episodes or something, a character who's like not a member of the cast, like the main cast at all, just walks on and goes, "Oh, so she's at love 15. What does that mean?" And then someone goes, well, in tennis, games to go like this. And it's just like, oh no, you've already explained it. I watch Wimbledon with my mum all the time.
Like anyway, I say, I think that was the initial impression that I got of her purpose as a character, but that didn't really happen.
No, I'd agree with that.
I don't know. She didn't fulfill that purpose. She was just kind of there. That's not to say that I don't know, because I don't want to say I don't like her because I did like her.
Yeah, I didn't inherently dislike her, but she did feel useless.
Yeah, I think it was on a very aesthetic level, rather than her as a character. I didn't really get the impression that she developed. Like they give the impression at the start that she believes in luck in games where there is no such thing, or it's very much downplayed. Well, and you get the impression that she was going to grow into someone a lot more competent who was actually going to be able to stand on their own at some point. But of course, that's probably going to happen over the scale of a lot of light novels, which this series didn't have access to. So unfortunately, I think she kind of falls short of the mark because of that.
Yeah, I think for me, the only places in which she was fully developed and grew were various physical things in the stages of adolescence.
What?
As you said, I think she's one for the future. Because she could easily end up doing stuff just because her position is important in being the granddaughter of the
previous king.
The previous king.
I think the one thing she did that actually made an impact, which they only really touched upon, which was kind of sad, but she was going behind, not behind their backs, but kind of in the background while Sora and Shiro were running the kingdom, and she was placating all the people in the kingdom, all the barons or counts or whatever, and she was using whatever politics to get them to her side. Well, that was like a really smart moment, but they didn't only touched upon it, which was kind of sad.
Yeah, and they had they introduced the whole dichotomy of Sora and Shiro don't know how to communicate with people. Stephanie has all the friends in the world, and they never use it.
Yeah. At no point did it feel like they had social anxiety, apart from the one bit where they showed up in Tokyo. I can't do this.
So there were so many missed marks there that they could have used Stephanie for, which was a shame. I was going to say something else, and I've completely forgotten.
If there's a next season, we could move on to Fee and Kurami, the elf and the human.
I liked those two. They were quite good rival characters, I thought.
Yeah, They served to fill a kind of interesting and necessary position.
Yeah, because I like the idea of, like, they beat her and Fee, and then she was like obsessed with the idea of they've cheated. Obviously cheated somehow. How the hell did they cheat? I'm going to go on this personal quest to find out who they're working with. Are they working with the Beastmen? Fuck them. And then just the fact that she had this cold, like, veneer, and then at the end of the chess game she just burst out crying. I was just like, that's awesome. And like I already mentioned my thoughts on Fee. She was just lovely, and she was very.
An elf. She gets a thumbs up.
She's an elf. She's very straight cut. I only care about Kurami. That's all I'm bothered about, and that gets a thumbs up from me.
It screamed all the Yuri.
It did.
All the Yuri.
It did indeed.
It was awesome.
There was certainly, like, again, towards the end, they touched upon Fee becoming a lot more important with the whole... She's actually, like, really high up in the elf social hierarchy.
Yep.
And they're probably going to do something with that.
Her brain changed and memories altered. And it's all part of the plan.
The plan.
The master plan, all according to Keikaku.
Surprised he didn't make it so in her memories, so she remembered to be naked whenever she was around him.
I'm sure that'll come.
Past him.
I'm sure that'll come in later.
Pat in the chat.
Oh dear.
Oh shit, man! It's Pat.
What?
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, I never get. Oh, sorry. Ooh.
Oh.
That's that little bit. It's Pat.
Okay. Next character, Jibril.
Jibril. I like
Jibril.
Jibril. I like Jibril.
Jibril. She was cool.
I think it's because she kind of had... Every character had their own, like, little gag around them. Or, like, their own, like, thing, their hang-ups or whatever. And Jibril's, I think, was the most interesting because she just... Everything fascinated her.
Yeah.
And then just when she got those crazy knowledge boners over things, I was just like...
Yeah,
yes.
when she was, like, drooling over the tablet. That was brilliant.
Like, she gets this... again, she gets like... She has this, like, image of being this, like, cold death machine. And like before all the rules got put in place and stuff, she was responsible for the deaths of billions because she's an evil bitch. But you know, give her a smartphone and she's
she actually
sorted.
just crotches in the library and has a lady boner over technology and various information things.
That's cool. I like that.
It was really entertaining. I did love her reaction, which is like, look at all these books on this tablet, all from another language and another culture, and she was like, gimme, I want them all, I want them all.
I was worried that she was going to break it by drooling on it too much. All the knowledge is dead!
I think...
What race, Flegel?
I think the only ones left are the Warbeasts characters, pretty much, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Shout-outs to Master Roshi.
Pretty much. And I shouldn't assume because they're called Warbeast, but when he opened his mouth and he had spiky teeth, I was like, whoa.
All that reminded me of, shout-outs to anyone who's read or reading the Berserk manga, when you get to Ganesha, then, yeah. He just looks like...
I don't think we can quite compare the king of the Warbeasts to Rin.
You know what? I would have made this show a bit better.
If he was just Rin was just in there as Rin.
The shark was just like swimming around in the background.
I was wondering. I thought you meant if you replaced Rin in Free with the Warbeast guy.
Oh god.
No. What are you trying to ruin my anime for?
How he wouldn't swim the butterfly?
He would swim the muscle stroke.
My charm point is my tail.
The beat. Oh dear.
42Believer, ladies and gentlemen.
Best. Oh, I'm having fun now. I was about falling asleep there. I'm having fun now.
It's only because we started talking about Free. One track mind, Debbie. One track mind.
Mention Free, and Debbie's like, what? Free? Someone say Free?
I heard Ren and I was like, are we talking about Free? I'm ready.
Good God.
Next character.
But yeah,
the little dog girl. She was cute, and I liked her.
She was.
I think it was kind of interesting how they played the fact that she actually didn't play games to have fun, and she was just playing them because she was told to.
Yeah. And then she started having fun.
This time she was actually having fun.
It's kind of a good picture on the way the world works in the show as well, because it's like they're games, but they're not enjoying them.
Kind of that always seems to be like
people
what
in their positions are sort of just like fighting for their country and territory and stuff, so they're not going to be like, oh yeah, let's stick about and play poker.
I did really like that, because at first I was when Tet goes, oh yeah, we're in this world, yeah, and there are these rules, and they make a big point of going like of saying that rule 10 is the rule that can be changed or like not adhered to. Because they go, there's the first 8 rules, and then the 9th rule is that none of the rules can be changed before this one, and then the 10th rule was, oh, you can have fun. And I was like, I genuinely hope they do something with this, because having that clause in there means that that can be messed with, which means that by storytelling law, it has to be.
Maybe it's a fake rule written in there by Ryuku on Light's request.
Yeah, maybe. But
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That was a really bad thing to say. That wasn't a good joke at all.
It wasn't at all. But yeah, I'm glad that they did something with that, and that there are people. Like the whole idea is people aren't playing games to have fun. So it's almost as if Tet brought them into the world, knowing that they would revitalize that 10th rule that isn't being followed anymore, because people have started having fun again.
Yeah, and it works.
I can agree with that.
And I'm honestly,
characters.
I'm looking forward to what happens with Tet in the future, because he's kind of appeared and done some things, but I'm not really getting his grand lordliness yet.
Yeah.
His power and what he can do and what he's there and why he's there.
Other than he's God, mate.
And like maybe that we'll know what this world is.
Oh, can you imagine if you went, oh, you know what, you guys are too good. You know what, I'm going to grab these other 2 child geniuses from somewhere else in Japan, and you got to play a game with them. Yeah!
It's like, look, it's Kirito and Suguha.
Kirito and Suguha.
Amazing. We're going to play a game. It's called Gun Gale. It's called Gun Gale Online.
That's a fan fiction waiting to happen.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's also... We've got freaking that horrible fat guy from Excel World. He's in here too.
Hey man, he's not horrible. He's lovely.
And...
You leave Arima alone.
And King Kazuma can join him, and it'll just be a big battle royale of all the similarly genred things. And Love Machine.
Can Haru be there so I watch?
No.
Can Wargreymon be there?
Wargreymon.
Right, we're faffing around. What else do we
can
need to
be
talk
there
about?
though, Ebby. Ray can be there because Ray's a lovable dork.
There's only one more character left, and that's the hot fox lady girl woman. And I just wanted to mention her because she's hot. She was
we barely got to see any of her.
She was wearing a monocle. That does it for me.
And then she was like, "Henshin, I am God-kun now."
It's all right. She was enough for me to fiddle my diddle to, so that's all right.
When no one else was in the room.
Unfortunately, I was watching the entire series with 2 other people in the room, so.
But that didn't stop you.
Nope. It's all right. It's all right. John did it every time Stephanie Dola was on the screen, so it's all right.
Is he a Stephanie fan?
He is. Yeah, like I said, he said Stephanie Dora every time she entered the screen. So.
Oh, you don't know. She just might like saying Stephanie Dora.
Stephanie Dora. I was wondering if they were going to do some silly thing about her name sounding like Dollar, but they never did.
No, they did make a Doraemon reference, right?
Yes, they did. Because they called her
Dora-chan.
Dora-chan, which is the pet name for Doraemon. Ha! That's funny because it's a reference to a child's cartoon that none of us have watched.
Exactly.
What did we think about the references aside from the blatantly obvious JoJo's ones?
The JoJo's
they kind of
ones
calmed down towards the latter half. I appreciate a JoJo's reference when I see a JoJo's reference, even though JoJo's references are without a doubt the most common references that are in everything.
I like the Phoenix Wright ones. Took me by surprise. I was like, whoa, there hasn't been a Phoenix Wright reference in a good few years. So I like that, and then just the fact that, like Emily mentioned this to me when we were watching, Chie was there. The fact that the judge, when they were playing that game, was just the judge from Phoenix Wright.
That was pretty awesome.
Tell you what it says, I'm talking Pandering. I stand by my points.
There's nothing wrong with a little otaku pandering.
Sometimes it's okay.
You know what? I like references, so I can't fault them on that. But I didn't understand all of them.
There was a Persona reference. there was a Persona reference. I'm happy with that.
You know what? There wasn't a Teddy reference, therefore it's not as good.
It wasn't even a reference. It was just Chie. She was just on the screen.
Yeah, that wasn't a reference, but it was like, it's Persona with a beep,
with a star in it,
and Steins Gate with a beep, and something else. I forgot what the third one was.
This game is just Beep Gun.
Yup.
Yeah, I think it was heavily referential at the start, and then it just kind of dropped off towards the end. But I think that was because they needed to cram in so much stuff before they could end the series that a lot of the other stuff got pushed by the wayside.
Oh yeah, they mentioned Laputa.
Yes, they did.
That was alright.
It was alright. It was there.
Right. It takes
a
more Kamen
lot
Rider
for a reference for me to actually. It takes a lot for me to actually go. Yeah, that was really cool. It needs to be done in like an interesting way. If it's literally just like blatant and in your face and not really done in a relevant context, it's just like, well, that's just there.
I thought really the best bit about that JoJo's reference was afterwards when, we finally got to do it.
Yeah, we did it.
That was the best bit.
It's not like in Lucky.
I will point out, I am like super uninterested in this discussion because I am really tired, and I was really tired when I watched No Game No Life as well.
I was really tired when I watched No Game No Life, but I think I'm a bit more bothered about it than you are. So
yeah, a little bit.
Shut up. Go and watch Free. Don't.
We
stay.
We can just settle with Free.
Abby was just like,
you can get those. You can get those Haruka socks.
You know what? Might treat myself to some new Haru socks.
Haruka socks.
Treating yourself to socks is a lot more satisfying than you'd think.
You know what they say? No socks, no life.
No infiltration, no life.
That's what I'm saying.
That was terrible. I'm sorry, but whatever.
Oh, I've got no life.
Put them away, you saucy minx.
It's alright. I've got room shoes on, bro.
Bro. Right. We need to draw this to a close because we are just this is blatant padding now as well. We've obviously got nothing more to say about this, so let's round it off.
We have briefly touched upon animation and sound a little bit already. There's not really anything in the soundtrack that I noticed being all that good.
What I liked about the soundtrack, the songs themselves were good, but I felt that they were a bit overused. There were a few songs that were used a lot through the entire thing, and there was the atypical "I am winning" and this is me explaining why I'm winning music. So obviously that was half the series.
Yeah. And nothing does that kind of music like Code Geass. Let's be real.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, there was nothing really. I enjoyed the soundtrack, but it was a bit repetitive, and nothing really stood out more than that.
OP and ED.
Yeah, they were alright.
I like both the OP and ED.
That's how the OD goes.
Yeah.
OD?
No.
OD!
Alright, let's do final thoughts.
Okay. Let's do in the normal, in the standard order that's on the screen. I shall begin then. Closing up, as I said, one of the biggest problems I had initially with this thing was just that to me, it didn't feel like it knew what tone it wanted to set. It didn't know what it was really trying to establish until the end when I actually got used to what it was trying to do. A lot of the problems in that you knew who was going to win the games were no matter what happened, and various other things. But with that said, it was a lot of it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting at the various points. I could get behind what was happening. It made me laugh a little bit as well. So, not something that I'm going to go out of my way to recommend to everyone, and something that I really, really like all that much. But it gets a 6. And it gets a reasonable, a light to strong 6.
Light to strong, isn't that just all the spectrum of 6?
Yeah, I haven't really decided yet. It's a light to, it's somewhere in the realm. Somewhere in the realm of the 6 ballpark.
Okay.
Over to you, Eber.
I don't really have too much to say on this show because I'm just.
I thought it was shit.
I was just like vastly unimpressed with what it gave me in the end, and I don't know if that's because I was tired. I don't know if that's because everyone's been like, been so bad, good. Like
No, you were saying it like an 80s gangster. bad, yeah.
It's bad. It's ill. It's ill.
it's sick, innit?
Yeah.
I liked the JoJo's references. I thought Chie in there was a nice little thing. I did not care about the plot or the games, so I basically didn't care about the show. I feel like I've just seen shows that have done something similar do what this show did a bit better. Where are you going?
Alan's just like, no, you can't take this. You can't take this scathing criticism.
I had to close my window because I heard drunk people screaming outside, and I didn't want that to be on the stream.
What are you talking about?
What are you saying about No Game No Life? That show's sick, no? Were you chatting? Were you saying about No Game? Shiro's the best, yeah? Yeah? I'd love to rail the
No Game No Life and Akame ga Kill animes of the year.
Yeah, man.
Don't even talk about Akame.
That's a taboo word in this stream, apparently. Or words. Anyway, carry on.
I don't know where I was
Drunks
now.
aside. Yeah, you didn't like it.
Yeah, basically, I just didn't like it. I didn't find anything about it appealing, and I've seen other shows do the same thing, but a bit better, in my opinion. Not according to Mal, but Mal's wrong. Just saying. So I was going to give it a Diabolic Lovers out of 10, which would have been a 3. But hearing you talk about it, I think I appreciate it a tiny little bit more, so I'm bumping it up to a Amnesia out of 10, which is a 4.
Oh man, you know what that means? Between mine and every scores, we give it a 10, a nice 10 out of 20. We give it a 10, okay, between us.
10 out of 20. It's my turn, isn't it? Oh, bloody hell, that means I have to form coherent thoughts again.
No, you don't. I didn't form coherent thoughts, I was just saying random crap.
So, I went into No Game No Life expecting not to like it. I'm going to admit that. I'm going to put my hands up and admit that I was expecting it. I felt going in that it was overhyped and I wasn't sure. And then the first episode confirmed that for me. So then I went into the second episode determined not to like it. And I can admit that is something that I do. Like, if I don't think I'm going to like something, I will try not to like it.
Yeah, it's human nature.
Exactly. So second episode made me really angry. And then the third episode completely flipped that over, and I was like, "Wicked! This show's going to be immense." And then it kind of wasn't. It dicked around a bit, and like I said at the start, there was a bit of a dichotomy between the silliness and the seriousness. They were at odds with each other. Both were very strong, but they abrazed against each other. I feel a little bit too much, at least for me to be able to get into properly. And then, as time went by, I got used to it. And then as it started to get towards the end, I realised the best way for me to enjoy it. I started doing that, really started to enjoy it, and went, yeah, this show's actually really good. And then it ended.
Yep.
So, yeah, it has a lot of problems. I feel it's got a lot of problems that grate against me. But it had the potential to be amazing. And I feel it missed the mark on a lot of points. But, like I say, I didn't not enjoy it for the most part. So it gets a 6 from me as well.
Over to you.
I guess it's my turn.
Sarah.
I went into the show basically expecting exactly what I got out of it. So I think that probably helped because I knew a lot of it was probably going to be very pandering. And I just said, you know what? I feel like I'm in the mood that I can watch a pandering show and just enjoy it for what it is. And then it kind of also, as I said before at the beginning, it brought back that nostalgia of watching my brothers play video games when I was a kid and how much I enjoyed that and how much that still, affects me even now. And and I had fun for what it was. I know it has a lot of flaws. I'm not going to deny that it has a lot of flaws. I definitely think Mal is being way too generous by having it be number 20.
With an 8.83 average rating.
Better than Cowboy Bebop, apparently.
Yeah, better than Cowboy Bebop.
8.83
Mal, are
means
you drunk? Go home,
means
Mal. You're drunk.
People are throwing 10s at this thing. They're
Most
throwing
people are
10s at
throwing
a
10s
show
at
that
this
isn't
thing.
finished.
So I think I would probably give it like a low mid 7. Yeah,
That's fair. Just a random question, Sarah. Did you watch it while it was airing?
yeah.
You did.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
that may
I did.
affect things as well, because of course, like I watched it after it had finished, so I had all this hype, the cloud of hype that I had to
Yeah.
sift through.
Not the hype
I
cloud.
did,
Not the deadly hype cloud.
I looked at the.
I need to-
I
I
remember
think I need to-
looking at the. No, I remember looking at the chart and seeing this show, and I'm like, oh, Madhouse is doing a show. Oh, look, a lolly character. Kinda like it. But
Yeah, when we did the chart discussion on this, it's like, it's a Madhouse show. We'll watch that. It's Madhouse.
yeah, and I was like, all right, let's see what Madhouse can do. It's probably not going to be that good. It's probably going to be pretty pandering, and I got something enjoyable out of it, and I think that was enough for me.
That's cool. What does that tot up to then? 16, 23 out of
23 out of
40?
40.
What did Sword Art get?
Sword Art
Was
got
the-
like 20. Free got
Okay.
like 30 something. So
I was just trying to think, because if this got a lower rating and lower average rating from all of us than Sword Art, I would find that so strange, because we spent the entire Sword Art episode roasting it, and this we were kind of half positive.
What was I? Oh, you got asked the question, Evie.
Did I?
I'm going through the right, guys. I'm going through the chat now, reading stuff. So if you want to do any like comments or questions and things, the time to do it now before we finish the stream.
Yeah, because
Do
we
you
do
think-
have a little bit of time this time.
Go to sleep.
Evie, do you think you'd have cared more if you watched it earlier in the week rather than a day or so after a day or so of Zeldathon?
probably might have enjoyed it a little bit more. But I still wouldn't have gone, best anime, 10 out of 10, like everyone on Mal, so...
Yeah, it's beyond me. I don't understand how. Because no, the main thing is, even if you love everything else, the show isn't a 10 out of 10 because it's not finished. It doesn't have an ending, so it can't be 10 out of 10. It's fundamentally not a complete thing.
I feel like it was a wrong place, wrong time thing, but it also is just not my thing. I'm not saying it's a bad show. I don't understand the hype around it, but it's just not my thing, you know.
I think I can understand why people like it as much as they do, but that doesn't mean that I have to.
Yeah. I just don't get why it was one of the most overhyped shows of last season. Last season had loads of good shit. It had ping pong. It had Sidonia. Last season was banging. Bro.
You know, I did have Kamigami no Asobi.
Oh,
That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh my god, Kamigami no Asobi was...
Don't say it, Sarah. Don't say it, Sarah. Because I disagree with you.
No, I did not like it.
I might have
didn't
given
like
it another point, Kinross.
I think
I might have given it another point or two, but I don't think it would have been.
I think
much.
everyone's in agreement. One thing we have learned today in today's anime club over everything else is the conditions in which you watch an anime or when you watch it do affect your experience.
Yep, without
Like watching
doubt.
it while it's airing is a completely different experience to watching it in one go.
Which was my problem with JoJo's. So
Yeah, and then just like any kind of thought process, like it's like, you know, I went in expecting
Like
to
your
not like it,
expectations.
and then that, you know, it's so maybe people.
So basically, just don't expect anything from anime and watch it when you're in a good mood. You'll love it.
You'll probably love it. It's great.
It's the best way
Okay.
to do it.
And with that said, doesn't
You'll
look
never
we
be
have
disappointed.
any
No, I think most
any
things
chat
got
questions.
said.
I think
and
we can close it out there. So before I
Well,
sign everyone off, next time we're doing Mushishi Zokusho, which is the second season of Mushishi. It is a fully 100% episodic series, and the second season is on Crunchyroll. The first season isn't. You can watch the second season first. That would kill me to do that, because that just completely goes against everything I stand for. But because it's so episodic and there is no order whatsoever, you could watch the second season first. We're going to be discussing the show episode by episode because it's episodic. It's only 10 episodes. But we're doing that with the one and only Tristan Gallant, Arcada from Glass Reflections, in 3 weeks' time on August the 2nd, because we've got
stuff going on. Okay?
we've got stuff. Like
There's
the
a lot
reason
of
this
stuff
one's
happening.
this week is because next week is Manchester Expo. That these two are
more
going
importantly, it's my birthday,
to. And it's my birthday the weekend
and your
after.
yeah, it's my birthday.
Yeah,
first.
My
come
birthday's
join
not
us
for
on
another
August
6
the
months.
2nd at the usual time. with Tristan.
I thought it was going to be August the 4th again. You keep doing that to me, Alan. To do something interesting, because like Alan and Ebby, you've watched all of it, haven't you?
Well, Mushishi.
Yeah.
I've the first season or?
Well, yeah. Have you watched the first season? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've watched the first season.
Because I was going to. I'm not going to. I've decided this just now. I'm not going to watch the first season. I'm going to see if that changes anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, we've given you
bit of an experiment.
We've given you 3 weeks for this one, I think, that's quite good, because if you do want to go ahead and watch all of it, you can go and find it and then watch the second series on Crunchyroll, and the OVA is also on Crunchyroll.
It's on Funimation's YouTube channel in 240p if you want to watch it that way.
Yeah, if you want to watch the first season first, which I would recommend, is because the first
240p. So if you want to watch it in Grano Vision.
Yep.
Grano Vision.
240p.
Okay. But with that said, I have been back a shift, joined by my two wonderful hosts, Bizarre Jelly 5 and Tensei Twister. We are, of course, from www.otakukato.com. And Sarah, thank you very, very much for joining us on such short notice. It has been wonderful. Always a pleasure. Yeah. Would you like to come on in the future again to do a show? Because I did have you in mind for things, but I just didn't invite you because I hadn't had a show in mind for you yet.
I would love to come on. If you guys ever do Haikyuu, I'm gonna be like, guys, I need to be in that discussion. Like anyone else, because I love Haikyuu.
Just jump into the Skype call, even if we had someone else, and she'd be like, "Yo."
Exactly.
We might be able to sort that out. Okay.
Because I think Haikyuu is better free. So.
Ooh, that's gonna be. Alan,
ding.
yeah, Alan, we have to do it now. We have to do it. And have these two on. That's gonna be hilarious. I want to see the cat claws come out.
It killed me. Trust me, Ebby, it killed me inside. I was like, I'm watching Haikyuu and I'm liking it more than Free. What is wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. I don't understand. But I think it's better.
I don't want to watch it anymore.
Alan, we're in for a good time when we do the Haikyuu
episode.
episode.
Over, while Free is still the high scorer.
Oh man.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you all on the second for Mushishi. And obviously, if anyone who doesn't know who Sarah is, check out her YouTube channel. It will be in the description of this if you're watching this on YouTube, even though she has more subscribers than all of us, combined, I think, at this point. We will see you all in the second. Ta-ra, so long, farewell.
See you guys. Bye. Bye. Thanks for having me on.
Bye.